Welcome to another edition of Rendezvous with Ravindra. And today our guest is the man himself, Ravindra, roll number 865 from our batch. So welcome to Rendezvous with Ravindra. Ravindra.
Thank you, Koti. Thank you so much for doing this with me. I used to think, "Kari amma, నేను అందరినీ ఇంత ఇంటర్వ్యూ చేశాను ఒకడు అనలేదని except for శంకర్ ఒకడు అన్నాడు." But then you said it and you're doing it. Yeah, it's nice having a chat with you, Ra.
Yeah. So, my question was that, how do you feel about doing this or sitting on the other side of the, mic doing this?
It's good. I mean, see, we have all had reactions from others about what questions we asked. Now, sitting in the other side, yeah, you can share whatever I have to say, so that at least people may get to know more about me than what they knew before, probably. Yeah.
So let's do the usual interview, which is, can you please talk to us about your background, your initial, when you were a kid, and then the how you were inspired to get into the Sainik School?
Yeah, but as they say, everything happens for a reason. We were in a place called Shakkar Nagar, which is near Bodhan, which is about 40 kilometers from Nizamabad. Okay, so there's a Nizam sugar factory there. It's no more there now, but it used to be there. And my father used to work in the sugar factory. In the camp office, something, maybe salaries, accounting, adantan.
Sure.
So I was studying in a school there, Montessori school. One fine day, a classmate of mine brought a newspaper, which had this advertisement in it about Sainik School and, scholarship, this, that, a huge area, playground, all that, It was almost, I think, a quarter-page advertisement or something. So I still remember the name of that guy. His name was Joel. So I took that paper home and I showed it to my father. I told him, I want to go here. So he says, why? So I said, there are so many, facilities given, etc., etc. Plus it is free and this and that. So he said, are you sure? I said, absolutely. So he had to get the application from Nizamabad, traveling 40 kilometers. And then, he prepared me for the exam, that 100 questions and 50 questions. So because he was, though he was not very much educated himself, he was only 11th class, PUC antare aa kalanlo. The PUC pass. But he was, like any parent, he was interested that, his children should be much more educated than him. So he, Rudadanlo, he was expert. I mean,
sure. Yeah.
So he taught me that, and then I passed the first exam in Nizamabad. Then, of course, the route, Guntur, etc., etc. And then my mother and everybody at home, are you sure you want to go there? Ni patal nuvu tukkovali, ni kancha nu gadukkovali, and all that, So I said, nothing doing. I want to go. That's what it is. So I'm the eldest in the family. So among the children, so I, that's how I joined Sainik School. And the guy who brought that newspaper did not make it. But there was another guy from my class, Manikya Vazagam. He, he got selected and he joined the school, but he left the school within 1 month of joining. So his number was 866. So he left the school.
Yeah.
And so that's the basic background of my joining Sainik School.
Good. So once I guess once you made up your mind and joined the school, so whatever your initial thoughts were about the school. What was it, or was it the same? Was it different from your actual experiences? Talk to us about your, initial experiences at school when you joined, first few months.
Yeah. It was horrible. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I felt where the hell I have come, and being away from parents and what have you.
Mm-hmm.
So this I decided to run away from school. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So there were a couple of us. I think Vishnu was the other one.
Mm-hmm.
So we all decided that we should run
I
away.
think either 865, 866, 867. This is a dangerous combination
Yeah,
language.
yeah. Ante. So we decided we'll run away from school. And one fine day, we packed everything and kept it in the cupboard.
Mm,
And in the evening, I think prefect undevade. So
mm,
he asked me, "You didn't have a bath?" I said,
mm,
"Yes, because I lost the keys for my cupboard and all that." So
mm,
he said, "Okay, show me your cupboard." So it was locked. So they
mm.
broke open the lock, and then they saw everything packed and neatly kept in the in the
Yeah.
side of that cupboard. He said,
Uh,
"Oh, what is this? This, that, yeah, oh." So I said, "This is what it is." So obviously he
mm,
reported to the housemaster that this
mm,
guy wants to run away from school, and Francis Samuel, as it is. So he said, "Oh, you want to run away from school?" So he took me outside the house. It was all
mm,
dark there. So he says, "Go
uh-huh.
up to the dining hall
Go
and come
run.
back." I
Uh,
said, "Yeah, idekatra babu అనుకున్నా." So I said, "Bloody, you can't, walk this much and you want to run away from school." And the plan was, since you didn't have
uh,
money, so the plan
mm,
was at that time we were all issued new kit, kada, shoes,
uh,
etc. We thought we will sell that, and with that
yeah,
money we'll buy a ticket to Hyderabad and Nizamabad. So that
sure.
was the initial this thing. But then
Mm,
after that, then you settle down, and you got into the routine, and then that thought probably never came again, and you got
mm,
used to the routine. So that was the first and last time that thought ever came. Even when Manikya Vazagam left, so I didn't feel, because I said, fine. I mean, he wants to leave, but
sure.
I can't really go back home and show my face to my father and say, "Ki I've run away from school." So
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay.
so
Good. It's good
I
you stuck. I guess I'm sure you're proud of being what is that? Going back on that initial jerk reaction.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
So yeah, talk to us about some incidents or some of your experiences that were that were very joyful or painful, whatever you want to call them. I know it's a 6 7 years is a long time, but
Mm.
you want to keep it down to 4 5 minutes.
Yeah, the two incidents I can recollect, because I was not, see, I didn't know anybody in school,
Mm-hmm.
neither teachers nor anybody, nor anyone else from our area, because the only one I knew, he left. So
Mm-hmm.
it was just, I mean, I didn't know anybody. So
Mm-hmm.
initial, I think in the fifth class or probably sixth class, you, there was this lady used to carry fruits and things like that on the road.
Mm-hmm.
And one day we thought, let us, but steal that, whatever. Instead of stealing, what we did was, somebody went and తట్టుంటుంది ఆ తట్టు
Mm-hmm.
తోసాడు, కింద పడింది. అది మేము
Mm-hmm.
తీసుకొని వెళ్ళిపోయాం అనమాట.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, somebody reported, and Francis Samuel the Great probably came to know of it. So he
Mm-hmm.
called us, and in his typical
Mm-hmm.
fashion, stand upon the bench, and ఒక రెండు
Mm-hmm.
చేతులతో కొట్టాడు. ఈ అమ్మ గుబ్బ గుయ్యమంది. ఆ గుయ్యి ఇంకా ఇప్పటి వరకు
Ah.
గుర్తుంది నాకు. So I can recollect that. So that was one. And also the lesson learnt was, never, exploit the weak and the poor,
Yeah.
and try to,
Mm-hmm.
snatch away their daily bread. That was the
Yeah, livelihood,
larger
right?
lesson that probably I'd learnt as a child. And the other thing was, I think when we were in 10th or 10th class, Nagpal unde Dardudu,
Mm-hmm.
principal. So he was
Yeah.
some late for some evening class anukuntanu.
Mm.
And then that bloody NCC Havaldar ni aapi in front of
Mm.
the palace. He bloody made us crawl all the way. And
Mm-hmm.
that was another terrible thing. I thought how cruel this principle could be, because we were in my mind, I had the image of Wing Commander Das Gupta,
Oh, yeah.
a wonderful
Other
gentleman
spectrum, spectrum
soul.
no, is on the other side.
Yeah, he's on the other side. And how can this bastard be so crude that he's bloody, ఏంటంటే మన మోచేతుల మీద అంతా bloody skin
Oh,
came
yeah.
off and it was terrible. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is something which I can't forget, kid, how cruel you could be towards children, whatever it is, even if
Children.
you're in
Yeah.
10th or still children, and he had no love for children. That is what was the
Yeah.
pity, because as a principal you expected him to be more like a father figure, but he
Mm-hmm.
was more like a demon.
Yeah.
That image somehow I cannot forget.
Yeah.
These are
I
the
mean,
two
all
things
of
that.
us had, all of us had very, I mean, he was psychotic.
Yeah, I mean, it
Yeah.
was terrible. And when you're in that position, I mean, you can't do what you did, as a principal of the
Mm-hmm.
school.
Yeah.
So these are the two incidents. Rest, of course, I was not neither naughty or rowdy or,
Sure.
but yeah, once in a while going to, Vijayanagaram was the norm. Yeah, that
Mm-hmm.
recollects me. One more thing was when we went to Vijayanagaram and we were coming back and the
Mm-hmm.
police caught us because probably we were on the wrong side or something. So then there was a whole tamasha, whole gang of people gathered. It was so
Mm-hmm.
insulting, And then somebody said, this fellow is favorite of NTR. So you tell
Ah.
them that you are coming from after seeing an NTR movie. So ఎక్కడికి వెళ్ళొస్తున్నారు అది ఏం
Ah.
సినిమా చూస్తున్నారు ఇది ఎన్టీఆర్ సార్ మా ఫేవరెట్ హీరో అది ఇది అంటే ఓకే ఓకే వెళ్ళండి నన్ను దట్స్ ఆల్. So I mean these are things which I can recollect
Yeah.
from school. So
Yeah, I mean, so most of us, when we're talking, we're recollecting all the tough or not so. Talk to us about some happy moments that we had in school. I saw the interviews. None of us talk about the happy moments.
yeah.
We only recollect these.
Yeah, happy moments. Yes, happy moments was I always thank school for my communication skills. Like
Mhm.
every year from 5th class to 11th class, I had participated in quiz, declamation, or
Mhm.
debate later on,
Mhm.
and the plays,
Mhm.
dramas. So this
Mhm.
is one thing I had participated every year in each
Mhm.
of these events.
Mhm.
And, this is what actually makes me, thank school, because whatever, in later years, the communication skills I can attribute to are because
Mhm.
of the lack of stage fear and or rather the confidence that you have in facing people that was
Mhm.
built up in school.
Yeah.
So I think those moments, the drama that we played in,
Mhm.
that I really love those moments of,
Right.
it was nice. It was, not only a recognition, it was also a satisfying effort for you to perform in front of so many people and the applause and so on and so forth.
That's
So,
good.
I mean, that's one pleasurable part of school.
Good. So growing up in school, did you have an idea on what you wanted to become, or did you? I mean, were you seriously considering career in military, or any idea on, because you would be exposed as you're growing up to different opportunities in life, right? So how did that go with you?
Yeah, I think, as far as I'm concerned, because I mean, we were made to believe that if you don't go to NDA, you're absolutely a useless guy, and
Mhm.
so it was like that, So NDA was so lame, and
Okay.
another thing was, I think I was a bloody shammer in school, in the sense that
Mhm.
I never worked hard. So that's also
Mhm.
another regret that I have. I never
Mhm.
took anything seriously. I was just
Mhm.
happy-go-lucky type, doing the minimum
Mhm.
possible, to get around 60-65% or be in that 10th to 12th rank kind of, position.
Mhm.
So never really worked hard, never really studied very hard in school, or never
Mhm.
even played game very seriously.
Mhm.
That's one regret I have in school, that, I should have excelled in at least one game, and
Mhm.
probably should have worked more hard in academics, because every
Mhm.
housemaster's report
Mhm.
contained the sentence that he is capable of doing much more. He has the potential
Oh.
to do well. So that
Mm.
potential never got realized. So,
Mm.
and I always thought, India was the ultimate thing, and I have to join that. And especially because once you joined NDA, it was as if
Mhm.
you're settled in life. And what
Yeah.
else does a middle class or a lower middle class family guy wants to do other than just settle down and start earning at age 20?
Earning. Yeah.
So my sights were very, very narrow, so
Mhm.
to say.
Yeah. So, I mean, so how was your life in NDA and Army after that? Army, how was that experience?
Yeah, see, NDA again, it was all something. A lot of things are forgettable, some things are memorable. But somehow the format that the organization, is initial 2-3 terms are all, pretty this thing. But yeah, it only makes you more confident that yes, you
Mhm.
can withstand the kind of physical and mental rigor that you are subjected to,
Mhm.
in those first 3-4 terms. So
Mhm.
that is what India taught you. It made you physically and mentally tough.
Mhm.
That is what India made you. And then
Mhm.
similarly, the IMA, 1 year in IMA,
Mhm.
also did the same thing. And yeah, in India, fortunately, in my own squadron, I had, Gabriel with me, Sitaramaya was
Mhm.
with me.
Mhm.
Throughout
Mhm.
the 3 years, he was with me in India,
Mhm.
put together. So it was, you could always, you could blow your valve off by, by sharing things, etc., etc.
Mhm.
And then once I joined the army, again, there was, as far as I'm concerned, there's nothing much that I can speak of, or any great achievements or anything like that. And when I had about 14 odd years of service, then I
Mhm.
decided that, I will leave after 20 years of service. That's a pensionable service, Anmata. So
Mhm.
I thought I
Any
will.
special reason why you
I
decide?
know, because I was not very keen on continuing. I thought,
Sure.
let me see the life beyond my uniform. You know,
Sure.
and I know that I couldn't go very high in in the hierarchy, and
Mhm.
probably I was not really made for that kind of a thing. So I said,
Sure.
then the next point was, if I had to leave after 20, then
Mm.
I should adequately prepare myself, so
Mhm.
that you can face the world in civil clothes, or civis as you call it.
Mhm.
So that's why I applied for study leave. We have a
Mhm.
privilege in the army called study leave for 2 years, where it's
Okay.
a fully paid study leave, where you can pursue, any degree, certain academic qualifications which are defined. So
Mhm.
I decided, one thing I didn't want to do was to be a security officer, because that's
Mhm.
what the people think, the army,
Yeah.
the service guys are good for. So that is
Mhm.
what I hated most. So then I thought, let me do MBA,
Mhm.
and so that's how I had, applied for study leave and prepared myself for appearing for the MBA entrance exam. And believe me,
Mm-hmm.
that studies I did for about 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
I thought if I probably studied that much
That much.
during my career also, probably I would
Mm-hmm.
have been far better. But it was a challenge for me, mathematics and reasoning, all that blah 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 blah.
Sure.
So that was the challenge, and
Mm-hmm.
fortunately, I got through, and when I had 15 years service, that in 1995, I
Mm-hmm.
joined Lal Bahadur Shastri Institute of Management in Delhi
Mm-hmm.
for for pursuing my MBA,
Mm-hmm.
specializing in human resources.
Oh, okay.
So that was, and then I left, 2 years. It was a fully, it was like a normal this thing every day you had to attend and things like that. So 1997, I completed my MBA, and the
Mm-hmm.
rule is that you have to serve for 3 years compulsorily after
After the.
the study leave. So
Mm-hmm.
I was posted in Ladakh Scouts
Mm-hmm.
after that, and then served there. I was with Ladakh Scouts for about 2 years plus,
Mm-hmm.
and then my last posting was in Hyderabad,
Mm-hmm.
and then I left in 2001 May.
Mm-hmm.
So after
Yeah.
about 21 years.
Yeah, that's great. So, how is your, I guess, second innings? Professional career second innings. One is the army, and how did your second innings go?
Yeah, I think that was the best part of my life. Two things I would consider the best part of my life. That is the 2 years while doing MBA.
Mm-hmm.
Because you are studying with, I was 35 then, and I was studying with 20 and 21-year-olds, so that
Mm-hmm.
was a big challenge to keep up with them, and, that was one. And after when I left army, so fortunately, the next day, I joined a company called Electrolux.
Mm-hmm.
Electrolux is a Swedish MNC,
Mm-hmm.
manufactures washing machines and refrigerators and etc. etc.
Mm-hmm.
So I joined as the HR head in one of
Mm-hmm.
their plants,
Mm-hmm.
and that was my first company where I stayed for about 4.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then I joined a company called Balarpur Industries. They
Mm-hmm.
manufacture paper.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of the leading manufacturing paper companies.
Mm-hmm.
So I worked there for about 2.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Then I joined a company called Khanna Paper Mills, which was in
Mm-hmm.
Amritsar, which was, far away being from MNC. It was a
Mm-hmm.
family-owned company, a
Okay.
1,000 crore turnover family-owned company, which wanted to, get in professionals and, wanted to become a professional company. There I
Oh,
worked
okay.
for about 6 years.
Oh,
And,
nice.
then the last company I worked for was ACC.
Mm-hmm.
So about 4.5 years I worked with ACC. So around 20 years, I would say, I worked in the corporate sector, and all these
Uh-huh.
20 years was as the head HR, head human
Mm-hmm.
resources in various
Sure.
plants as well as in the corporate office. So that was a great experience because not only you could showcase your capabilities, and
Mm-hmm.
also got a good jump in salaries.
Oh, okay.
So in these
Better
20
better
years,
monetary reward.
yeah, in those 20 years, my salary became 20 times. So you can
Yeah.
imagine the kind of growth that you could get.
Mm-hmm.
So it
Mm-hmm.
was a pretty, and then as the head HR, you are somewhat like second in the hierarchy next to the plant head. So
Mm-hmm.
you also have, plus being ex-army, you have something, an automatic a kind of a respect.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one thing which has happened. And
Mm,
here I would just like to mention one thing, that people
mm,
always believe that you cannot work against your own nature, you know.
mm.
Ante, ninte, I am like this only. You're like, you know, I am
Yeah.
angry, I can't negotiate, I can't, this, that. I
Mm,
believe that is not true.
yeah.
You can work against your nature provided you're
Yeah.
determined to do it. You
Yeah.
know, like in my case, I was
Mm,
terrible at negotiations. Even
mm.
right from negotiating with the vegetable vendor onwards, I was terrible.
Sure.
I was
Mm,
pretty bad in that.
mm,
Whereas when I joined the corporate sector, you had to do wage settlements. You
mm,
know, you had to do a bonus a settlement every year, and then you had to do wage agreements, which is in once in 3 years.
mm.
So for that, I mean, you need to really have negotiation skills.
Yeah.
So you won't believe the way I did it was firstly buy a book, how to improve your negotiation skills,
Uh-huh.
and then made notes out of it and stuck to it, which was
Yeah.
against my nature. So
Mm,
I said nothing more, nothing less. So this is what it is.
mm.
And then
Yeah.
you held on to it, because with unions, when you are negotiating with 15 people sitting in front of you,
Mm,
you tend to, succumb to pressure and give in, you know.
yeah.
So that
Mm,
I ensured that I did justice to the management
yeah.
as well as to the workers, you know.
Good. Yeah.
So
Yeah. I mean,
that's
I think a good negotiator is the one, right? You have to do justice to both sides.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Otherwise, otherwise a fair deal can never be reached.
Yeah, absolutely. Both of them will think that, probably you're shortchanging them. So, I mean,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
more so when you have two unions in the same plant, you need to
Mm.
be fair with both of them, because
Both of them.
they
Yeah.
cannot assume that you are favorable to either of them.
Yeah. 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 I mean, like you said, we have to deal with complex, human equations.
Yeah, yeah.
And a lot of us, the people who say they're not good at negotiating are the ones who don't want to spend the time and energy understanding the different dynamics.
Probably, yes.
Just say, hey, I don't want to do it, or I'm not good. So that is the easy way out, right?
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
That's good. So, any professional regrets either in army or in a corporate sector?
And in corporate, not really, because
Mm,
I think I've had enough success, and I've had, one thing I would say, I'm very fortunate, both in the army as well as in the corporate world, is I have had, with a few exceptions, one or two exceptions, I've had good bosses.
mhm.
I've had good bosses who would repose faith in me and leave it to me to, sorry, to do my thing. Like,
Mhm.
in one of the organizations that I work for, Electrolux, where you had to do, it's a tough job removing people, So we had
Yeah.
to, it was all because we had taken over from Voltas, and we had to reduce people. So it was a huge task. But
Yeah.
then my boss only told me this,
Yeah.
uh, Ravindra, you just do what you want. Okay.
Mhm.
You want my help, you call me, and I would
Mhm.
be there the next day afternoon. Because that
Mhm.
was that much time it took for somebody to come from Delhi to,
Sure.
Nagpur. So
Mhm.
that's the kind of, trust people had.
Mhm.
And, we probably did those things which I never thought it was possible. Can you
Yeah.
imagine, we had reduced 300 permanent people
Mhm.
out of a 900, rather.
Wow, that's a
Okay,
big.
yeah, the 300 in the first installment and 200
Mhm.
in the second installment. So from
Wow.
900, we brought down the workforce to 400.
Mhm.
Okay, and contract labor also had reduced almost about 100 odd contract labor.
Mhm.
So it was, of course, we paid money. I mean, we paid money, But it's not easy to, to do this. But yeah, without the support of people around,
Sure.
and in these kinds of jobs, your own management doesn't support you much, because people on the shop floor are with the workers, so
Yeah.
they are scared to do, what probably as
Yeah.
HR we are forced to do,
Mm-hmm.
So, but that was the toughest thing to do. But then, you got
Yeah.
recognized for it, and I ensured, I ensured that
Yeah.
the parting was as smooth as possible. Every
Mm-hmm.
individual, I gave the check myself. Then we brought
Mm-hmm.
in people to advise them on how they can save money, so
Sure.
that they don't, all waste it away. So the best manner possible. I mean, no, you could.
Yeah, I mean, you see, it is nothing personal, right? It's see, we
Yeah,
all got a job to do,
exactly.
and end of the day, unless the company is healthy, none of us can survive. So that's how you want to look at it, right?
Exactly. But then people don't take it that way.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
every day for about 6 months, I used to go on the shop floor in both the
Mm.
shifts and talk
Mm.
to people, have small little
Mm.
gatherings. And
Sure.
then, sometimes you have to
Yeah.
be blunt with them. And
Hmm.
unfortunately, at that time, I had a operation of the hip, and I was
Oh.
walking with two crutches. But
Ah.
then I
Okay.
said, nothing, you have to go.
Mm.
So I used to
Sure.
go around and talk to them. Sometimes be very blunt with them. Sometimes be open with
Yeah.
them. So it's a tough time, but then
Yeah.
you have to do. If you have to do, you have to do. That's it.
Yeah.
So,
So let's switch gears from professional bosses to domestic boss.
yeah.
Yeah. So how did you meet, or how did that? I know, it would be, through arranged or other channels. How did you meet Madhu, and how did all that go?
Yeah, see, actually, my uncle knew their family.
Mm-hmm.
So they used to stay in Delhi because she was born and brought up in Delhi. So
Mm-hmm.
once my uncle, and their family went to visit Delhi and other places. So obviously
Mm-hmm.
they stayed at their place, and
Mm-hmm.
they suddenly saw this grown-up girl who's done her graduation.
Bal
Yeah,
వెలిగింది
well,
మనోడు
so
నిలికిందా
అదే మనవాడు ఉన్నాడు కదరా అని
ఆ,
సో రాగానే సో దట్స్ వాట్ ప్రపోజ్ వై డోంట్ యూ చూడొచ్చు
ఉమ్,
కదా అది ఇది అంటే సో
ఉమ్,
దెన్ ఇట్ వెంట్ ఆన్ అండ్ దట్స్ హౌ యునో that was
yeah,
fixed. I mean, she was the only one I saw, and then for
mhm,
whatever it's worth, it clicked, and so the result
mhm.
is this.
Yeah, it's meant to be. It is meant to be, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Marriages are made in heaven.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Talk to us about your life with Madhu, and your family life, kids.
Yeah, see, again, because unfortunately, fortunately, we're the chiefs of that old block, where, initially you think that you are a guy, and, things like that, because you saw how dominating your father was, you know. So that's how initially you tend to, take things. But as you move along, it takes time to, adjust and reconcile. And then she's been pretty, of course, everyone will probably will talk about their wives that way, but frankly speaking, she never, probed into my life in the sense that how much salary. You can't believe me. She never even asked me what is the salary. Nothing of that sort. Throughout till
Mm.
date, he never asked me how much do you earn, what do you do,
Mhm.
So
So, and about your daughter and granddaughter, introduce us to them.
yeah, my daughter name is Samyukta. So she's the only child that we have, and she got married to, of course, my son-in-law. Is in Toronto. So they have a granddaughter. We named her Sanvi. I mean, they named her Sanvi. So
Mhm.
again, it's one of those things that I never interfered in, or we never interfered in. We said, whatever you want to name, you name, because after all, you're the parents, So then one fine day, she said, you want to name her this? Yeah, fine. So just tell me what is the meaning of that. So I went to the Google and said, it is one of the names of Lakshmi. I said, fine, good enough. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
what I did.
Yeah.
So,
So, and also to all our friends, I want to tell you this. I mean, me and my wife Sudha got to spend time with Madhu and Ravindra, personal time, and we got to know them very well. She is such a lovely lady that anybody, I mean, she's one of the easiest persons to get along with, and very loving and caring. And, we came to know about her extended family and how I think her family is one of the role models where joint family system worked to the core.
yeah.
So, yeah. So I
Absolutely.
think, Ravindra, you are very lucky that way to marry Madhu.
Oh, thank
And,
you. Thank
it's not, I mean, of course, it goes the other way around too.
you.
And also, I would say we all should, I know we all get together as a group and spend some time, but I think we should spend time with each other's families on a individual basis or smaller groups. That's when we get to, bond more and know about each other more. I had the fortune of spending a lot of time with different families. And I think that was great. Me and Sudha, we still talk about every once in a while about, especially Madhu's photography. She is a better photographer than you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, no
Yeah.
doubt. Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
great. Same, Koti, same here, I would say that, once we spoke and I said, when I go to, Pennsylvania, I must
mhm,
make it to Washington. And then
mhm,
that's how it came through. And it was again lovely spending those 2 days with you.
mhm,
And, again, I agree with you that at this age and at this time of our lives, I think it's always pleasurable to share some time with our families. And
mhm,
yeah, but one point I agree. The joint family, it's something with remarkable. My father-in-law and his brother,
mhm,
they spent their entire lives together, except for
mhm,
1 year probably, when
mhm,
my younger, my Chinnamaya garu, he came
mhm,
to Hyderabad, but he couldn't sustain himself, and he went
mhm,
back to Delhi to stay.
mhm,
And I don't know how it works.
mhm,
Initially, of course, they stayed as a bachelor, then he got married. They have
mhm,
3 children of their own, and my father-in-law, they have 4 children of their own. How they manage, how they, I mean, more
yeah,
so, it is difficult for the ladies too. I mean, because
mhm,
after all, as brothers, you can reconcile to each other and it's easy to stay with each other, probably are more understanding.
sure.
Whereas the ladies staying together for
Mhm,
such a long period of time, నేను అదే
mhm,
అనుకున్నా మన రామలక్ష్మణుల్ని చూడలేదు కానీ
yeah.
బహుశా మా రియల్ లైఫ్ రామలక్ష్మణులు మాత్రం వాజ్ మై ఫాదర్ ఇన్ లా అండ్ హిస్ బ్రదర్. ఇట్స్ అమేజింగ్
And the kids too, right? And the kids
యా
bonding too.
కిడ్స్ టూ అబ్సల్యూట్లీ.
Yeah.
వాళ్ళ పిల్లలు చిన్నమ్మాయి వాళ్ళ పిల్లలు మా
Mm,
అత్తయ్య గారిని అమ్మ అంటారు,
mm,
వాళ్ళ
yeah.
అమ్మని మమ్మీ అంటారు.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, like
Yeah.
it was amazing. That was
Mm,
amazing experience. And now, of course, except for my Chinnata, all three are
mm,
gone to
mm.
heaven. Probably there also they must be discussing some things there. So, but it is amazing experience. Since you brought it up, I thought I'll just amplify that. So it's one of
Yeah,
the wonderful things that I saw amongst them, and
yeah.
probably that thing of reconciliation. For my wife also came from there, because there you can't demand, there you can't force yourself, you can't throw tantrums, because you have
Mhm,
to take care of almost 4 or 5 children at any stage of your life.
mhm, mhm. Yeah, yeah,
So I mean, that's great. Yeah.
yeah.
Sorry for that
Yeah.
personal
So,
thing, but I
yeah.
just
So,
wanted to share.
let's move on to your post retirement, actual retirement.
Yeah.
So, how did you develop this hobby of photography? Was it there from before, or when did it start and all that?
Yeah, see, photography was something which I was fond of right from the beginning. In school, I had, I think, click 3 ఉండేది ఆ రోజుల్లో.
Mm-hmm.
So later
Mm-hmm.
on, so I had click 3,
Sure.
and after
Mm-hmm.
that, ISOLI 2 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I bought another camera. So I was
Mm-hmm.
interested right through, you know.
Sure. Yeah, yeah. So the other thing, like, we're really thankful to you is connecting us digitally, keeping us, digitally connected on a regular basis, and also doing this program, the Rendezvous with Ravindra. That is actually very unique and, and a entertaining way of connecting with friends and knowing about, we probably don't know about each other that much. So you're making it possible. For that, on behalf of all of us, I really thank you. And I just, could you tell us how easy or difficult it is for you to now, not only just our classmates, but you're connecting with other Psychorians. So how easy, difficult it is, trying to motivate them to come on the program, or also, are they receptive to this? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. Yeah. Before that, I would say, okay, how did this come about? Essentially,
Mm.
was during our Northeast trip,
Mhm.
because before that, I did not take part in any of your the trips with our classmates,
Mhm.
nor I was very active in the sense that because I was not here in Hyderabad. So the get togethers, unless and until I was on leave and
Mhm.
somebody's marriage happened or somebody's daughter's or child's marriage happened, I used to attend.
Sure.
So during our Northeast trip,
Mhm.
during interacting, I realized, that how little I knew about
Mhm.
each of you, each
Mhm.
of us rather. I knew
Sure.
very little about each of you, except for,
Mm.
couple of guys I knew. But other than that, there is very little I knew of most of us,
Mhm.
So then I used to ask, like, if Nagi was sitting with me in the bus, so I used to keep asking him
Mhm.
questions to know more about. Then
Sure.
once you sat next to me, so I was asking you about
Mhm.
your journey in life. So then I
Mhm.
realized, I mean, like, I felt bad for myself that I didn't know too much about very many people.
Mhm.
And then once the talk came about when this Zoom thing came, I
Mhm.
that's then that idea struck me that why don't we, uh, do this on Zoom?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so as an experiment, I started
Mhm.
with Nagi. I said, Nagi, let's connect on Zoom. And
Mhm.
those set of questions I asked him,
Mhm.
and though, of course, that was not very good because technically, so I
Mhm.
mean, I had to redo it with Nagi later. But yeah, then I
Sure.
realized that this is one way of knowing more about each other and then sharing it with everybody so that
Mhm.
everybody knew everybody. And I think at this stage of our life, I mean, that is one thing we can, we should do rather. What else is there to,
Mhm.
do now? So that was how. So even own school types, yes, initially it was all right. I mean, like not many problems, I would say.
Mhm.
Uh, but yes, with some tough nuts to crack. So చాలా మంది and who have not participated, but వదలకుండా మొత్తాన్ని managed to get most of the people that I could get in. So then
Mhm.
when once this was over, then it happened that when I saw in the WhatsApp message, one of
Mhm.
our guys, who made a Guinness Book of, who made it into the Guinness Book of World Records,
Mhm.
and that was fascinating to me. Arey, Vidu, he has got, he's made into Guinness Book of World Records, and
Mhm.
I don't know anything about him. I don't know
Sure.
about how he achieved it and things like that.
Mhm.
So I said, ki, let me just, get in touch with him. So through somebody who knew somebody, they're all, we don't know kada ye batch in Telugu. So finally,
Mhm.
I could get to him. And then,
Mhm.
of course, he was nice. So he volunteered, and then, so that's how the first thing happened for the outside, a lot of people.
Okay.
And, that's how then somebody told me about this guy who was who worked with Yahoo, and, etc., etc. So that's how I caught on to him and fixed it
Mm.
with him. So that's how
Yeah.
it went on, because
Mm.
I enjoy. I mean, I enjoy doing it actually. I enjoy
Sure. That's good.
and getting to know people and spread the word
Mhm.
among our own people, because they're
Yeah.
very hardly, it is a shame that our achievers who don't know about their achievements.
Yeah.
So I thought I might as well do this. So I started doing that. In some cases, as you said, it is pretty tough to get them.
Mhm.
But yeah,
Mm.
why lose heart? I mean, since if
Yeah.
it doesn't happen, so bloody what? I mean, there is no prestige at stake. So we
Yeah.
keep on, and there's so many people that, you get hold of them. And
Mhm.
similarly, latest when I saw in the WhatsApp group what the
Uh,
73 guys did and all that, then I said, what the hell? I mean, like, how
yeah.
did they? Because it was so, whatever their achievement has been outstanding, to say the least.
Yeah.
As a batch, as an individual,
Yeah.
it's okay, but as
So
a batch, it's something
yeah.
which is outstanding. So
Sure.
I said, okay, let's get together and have a chat.
Yeah.
So that's how it happened.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
mean, simply because I enjoy doing it, and it's a lot of work, I would say, because after you get the raw data, like
Mhm.
you do it for
Yeah.
an hour, then edit it. I edited at least about 3 times, 3 or 4 times,
Mhm. Yeah.
just to get it right.
Yeah. Because you have to bring it to a length where audience would be interested too,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
also
that's
the
that's the
continuity is
challenge.
there, and the continuity is also there.
Mm.
So,
Yeah.
and then even to load it, it
Mhm.
takes an hour to load that. Yeah, but then
Mhm.
I think I also realized that, as I think Ramaya pointed out rightly, in this
Mm.
age of, Twitter and WhatsApp and what have you, the
Mm.
attention, the scope for attention of people is very less. So
Yes.
probably I thought I should now reduce it to maybe, 20 to
Yeah.
30 minutes as
Yeah,
much as
yeah,
possible.
yeah, yeah. You have to find that right length, but then
Yeah, right.
you can't. Editing is the biggest challenge, right? What
Yeah,
do
yeah.
you keep? What do you not keep?
Absolutely. So that's
Yeah.
what I thought. And just recently, when I uploaded that 1973 thing,
Mhm.
people couldn't open because he said Google has said exceeded something something. So he suggested,
Sure.
why don't you do YouTube?
Hmm.
So I said, how do you do it? So he told
Yeah.
me, and then I started uploading in YouTube. And
Hmm.
now that's what I usually do. I only upload in YouTube.
YouTube. So you create a YouTube channel?
Yeah, yeah. But now I've
Mm.
taken up a YouTube channel. So
Mm.
the 73 thing I uploaded on YouTube, and
Mm.
then you can also see how many views it had.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it is nice to see that there are about 290 odd views.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah, and then I had uploaded this step bell thing, so that had
Hmm.
around 270 views.
Oh,
So
nice.
as I said, at least it gives you satisfaction that, yeah, there are so many
People
people
are, yeah.
viewing it.
Hmm.
So
That is
that's
good.
why we move along. And I bought that software for editing, so I do it on that. I like
Ah,
it.
okay.
I like it. I like doing it, so that's how I do.
Yeah, good, good. Nice talking to you, Ravindra. And I hope all our buddies will enjoy this conversation. And we would really want to say we are really thankful to you for keeping us all connected on a monthly basis, especially those lazy buggers who don't respond. Yeah. So yeah, yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Rakoti. Thank you so much.